Hi friends, how are we doing today? I'm excited. I'm excited, and I'm finally back. I know it's been a couple weeks since my last video. I went on a work trip, and then I came back, and I was super sick, so it was super fun. But I'm back now, and I'm ready to talk about freaking Nightfall. Finally, um, I'm excited to put the Devil's Night series to bed. Um, as much as I liked it, I'm done. So I'm ready. I'm ready to put it behind us so we could talk about some more books and more exciting series, and some really good standalone books as well. But if you're new here, hi, how are you? My name is Blush Between the Covers, and I do my makeup and I talk about smut books at the same time. Um, so if you like yapping, if you like makeup, if you like books, hi, hello, I'm the person for you. If you don't like makeup, that is a-okay. But if you actively hate makeup, the door is there. If you don't like books either, that's okay. The only thing that you are required to like is yapping. Other than that, you could you could chill. It's fine. But if you're returning, hey Misty, hey, hey, thanks for clicking on my videos and coming back and enjoying the content that I create. Um, I don't really know what I'm going to do with my makeup today, but we're going to figure it out. I'm going to clip my hair out of the way and I will be right back. Okay, hair is clipped out of the freaking way and I am ready to get started talking about this. Okay, so Nightfall. Again, two characters, one male, one female. The main characters that we have this time are Will Grayson and Emery Scott. Will Grayson, we know, we love. He is a sweetie bobiti, um, kind of the problem child right now in the Horseman group because he's fallen into uh, some really not great ways of coping through drugs and alcoholism. But he's just a guy. He's just a little guy. It's fine. We'll get into it some more. And then our female character is Emery Scott. We know about Emery from the previous books. Will went to prison for the video footage of him beating up her abusive cop brother. Um, and yeah, and, the story starts off with Emery waking up in a surrounding that she has no idea, like where the hell she is. Um, she it just kind of comes to, and she's in a room that is not her house. And is really just unfamiliar to her in general, and she doesn't have her shoes. Odd thing to kind of mention. But she's got everything else. She just doesn't have her shoes. And yeah. But otherwise she's, fully clothed, whatever. But she ends up getting up and exploring, and she comes face to face with a character that we have not met before. His name is Taylor Dinescu. He is the son of some, wealthy person. And he's freaking weird, man. I guess, that's what happens when you end up where they end up because they end up in Black Church. And we know about Black Church from um, mainly Damon's father threatening to always put Damon there. Because Black Church is where all of the wealthy, wayward children go when their parents want them out of the way, but don't want to you know kill them, I guess, because the only way to get rid of a problem is to remove it entirely, or something. I don't know. But Black church is where all the wealthy families send their kids. It's kind of almost like a rehab type, I guess. Um, maybe I don't know. I don't really know how to describe Black church other than really like a wealthy prison, essentially. um, but there's no girls, so her well Emery being the only female, and also too she didn't come from a wealthy family or anything like that, so her being there is a little out of sorts because she's not some rich schmuck's daughter who's acting out or anything like that. She's just a girl like me. She's just a girl, just a girl. And she's like, "What the frick am I doing here?" And Dinescu is like, "Wow, we're not, we're not usually let around women," and that makes her like, "What the frick?" And Dinescu is like, "You know, you better be careful. Everybody is out right now hunting with the hunting party," and she's just like, "Why am I here?" And also, we too are like, "Why are you here, girl, Miss Thing?" Because you don't belong here. But she kind of do, not because she's a problem child, but because she is linked to Will Grayson. And if we remember from last video when I also talked about Conclave on top of Kill Switch, the gang set up a plan to try to save Will because they were pretty sure that he got sent to Black Church. Spoiler alert, clearly, obviously, he is in Black Church. Otherwise, why the hell would Emery be here? But Will is in Black Church and he is coming back with the hunting party. But Emery is like, I gotta get the hell out of here. So she bolts and, ends up not escaping. And she comes in contact with the like ringleader, de facto leader, whatever you want to say, of the guys in Black Church. His name is Aiden Kadir. He is one scary guy, and I don't know. He's just freaking intimidating from this, but he's a doctor, so that's cool. So anybody that gets hurt at Black Church, they've got a doctor on standby. um, but we'll talk about him more in a little bit as well. Oh, I gotta sneeze. Okay. Anyway, so it's more than just Aiden and Dinescu and Will in Black Church. There's also these two other guys, Rory and some other guy. I'll remember his name eventually. They end up being like little twink lovers. I really wish I could remember the other one's name right now, but they're not mentioned. Well, no, mm, they're mentioned quite a bit. Oh, Micah, Rory and Micah. Um, right? Is Micah Will's cousin? I don't know. I'll remember and I'll put it somewhere on screen. But the two guys they end up being little twink boy lovers, and I know for a fact that Rory is I don't want to say accused. He's definitely guilty of it, but Rory has a disabled sister and ends up committing some crimes relevant to the downfall of some popular kids that ended up being not the best people and involved themselves with his sister. So he was really just protecting her, but his family obviously had to put him away to avoid the scrutiny, accusations, whatever, of their son being a murderer, essentially. But honestly, I don't want to say good for him, but clearly he cares about his sister. But he's not the main character, okay? So let's refocus. So Emery wakes up in Black Church. She eventually comes across Will, and Will's kind of pissed off. He's like, what are you doing here? And she is like, I don't know, dog. Why am I here? And Will is really thinking that his friends had, maybe brought her to Black Church, but then he's like, why the hell would they do that? Do they even know that I'm here? Probably. They're probably going to try to break me out, but I'm not ready. And it's like, huh? And Will is talking to this person. He's got a little like laptop hidden away in his room, like under the mattress type. I'm skipping way ahead, just so you know. I'm kind of just giving you the quick and dirty because there's a lot that goes on in this. Black Church really is only, I feel, a small part of everything. So Will's in Black Church and he's got this contact, I'll say, on the outside, and it's just this mysterious person because it's not somebody that is part of the Horseman group. It's just someone we don't know until closer to the end. So we're like, who the hell is Will talking to? And Will can leave really whenever he wants. He can get extracted whenever. But Black Church, once you're there, you're pretty much there for the long haul. And there's only a crew that comes once a month to clean and restock and provide for them. And Emery must have been dropped off with the, I'll call them like supply crew. So she has to wait a month to get delivered. Delivered? Not delivered. Saved? Rescued? Extracted? Whatever I want to say. If Emery behaves and doesn't try to escape, because they're in the middle of nowhere, okay? Nobody knows where Black Church is. Is it in California? Is it somewhere else? Is it in Canada? I don't know. Well, we do know. It does end up being in Canada. Just in a really remote location. Is that? Okay, there we go. But before this time, nobody knows where Black Church is, and they've got a couple different locations. So Black Church doesn't necessarily only have to be one place, but the one that Will is in, with Emery and Iden and Rory and the other mystery person and Dinescu, they are in the Canadian branch of Black Church. But oh man, I've got hair. Oh, I found it. Okay. Sorry. But they're in Canada, whatever. Emery has to wait a month to get rescued. If she survives that long, we'll say. Because she's already ready to go. She's like, all right, yeah, this is cool and fun. I'm over it. I do not want to be here. I don't know why I'm here. Y'all are bad. Stay away from me. But Aiden has taken, a fancy to her. He's like, there's a girl here, and she clearly is tied to Will Grayson. I'm gonna use that to my advantage. And our boy, Will Grayson, he has had feelings for Emery Scott since high school. He was putting the moves on back then, and Emery in high school, she liked Will, but she was always convinced that A, he was just kind of doing everything to mess with her, and B, she couldn't be with him because her brother was abusive, and she had to look after her sick grandmother, and so many things. But she could not have this happy ending with Will in the past. So she shut it out and did what she could to protect herself, we'll say. And she didn't think really that any of it back then was genuine from his point of view. Again, because she thought he was just kind of messing with her. But Will was serious. He's a soft boy. Our baby boy Will Grayson is a soft, gentle little nugget. And he really cared about her. Clearly, obviously, because he freaking beat up her cop brother because he was beating on her. And it took him a while to kind of figure that out and put two and two together. Didn't take Damon very long because Damon knew all those telltale signs because Damon was getting abused in a different way at home, and that helped grow the bond essentially between Damon and Emery that Will didn't really care for because he really thought that Damon was screwing Emery behind his back because they ended up being in the boys' locker room shower together. But that's just because they hide a body together. Whose body is it? I'll give you 3 seconds to guess. Damon's mom. Bing, bing, bing. You guessed correct. Good job. All of the stories of everybody are so intertwined with each other. You know, Kai's story being linked to the night that Damon's mom disappeared, and now Damon hiding the body, and Emery's there and has to help hide the body with him. The freaking church, like the confessional thing, Emery was there because Emery ends up being left a key to, I don't remember what they called this room, but it's supposed to be like a myth type thing, this room. But the room is got like a bed in it and it's a safe space. And who leaves the key for Emery? Damon, because Damon had that place to hide away. It's just crazy, all of these stories coming together. But eventually, that cat is meowing so loud outside the door. I'm trying to ignore him. Hold on. Okay. But if I cut through all of the Black Church stuff, which I said is really more of like a small blip in time through the book, Alex ends up coming to save Will. And Will is all like, I'm not ready to go. And Alex is like, what the frick do you mean you're not ready to go? Because I came here to save your ass. And the rest of the guys, talking about the horsemen and Rika. Jesus. Oh man, our main girl from the first book, and I couldn't even remember her name. Rika and Winter are all coming to save you. So you better get your crap and let's go. You're coming with me. And Will's like, Brick, no dog. You can take Emery though, and you guys can get out of here, but I'm not ready. I'm not going. Um but then nobody knows that Will chose to go to Black Church. Will was actually going to Black Church to make some connections, to make friends. When I say it like that, it sounds crazy, but Will went to Black Church to grow their business, their alliance, to I don't know, yeah, make connections with more wealthy wayward sons. But he was really working on Iden and Rory and whoever the frick the other person is, because they have wealthy, powerful families as well. But I can't. It's really bothering me that I can't think of that other person's name. Because I am not sure anymore that it's Micah. I'm pretty sure Micah is Will's cousin. I don't know. It'll come to me. But whatever. Anyway, they end up getting rescued from Black Church. And you know what happens again? A fire. Why can't these people not start fires? That's what I want to know. Everything that they do leads to fire. Black Church, burned to a crisp, burnt to the MF ground. But Will and Emery end up getting saved from Black Church. And Emery is like, we have to go back because, like I said, there's a fire. There's never not a fire with these guys. But there's a fire, and Emery's like, yo, we gotta go back and we gotta save Iden and Dinescu, but like maybe just Iden because they also extracted Rory and Mystery Man name. Brick, I dropped something. It's always a miracle when I drop something and it doesn't break. So bless up whoever's watching over me. But they extract the Twinks, and that's just how I'm gonna refer to them. The Twinks. They they extract the Twinks and not Iden and Dinescu. But Iden is pretty dangerous. And Dinescu, honestly, even worse. Even freaking worse. Because he is a real freaking loose cannon. I don't even know, what Dinescu's problem is. He's just wackadoodle dandy. Um, but he ends up getting his comeuppance, honestly, because he ends up getting murdered. Does that happen in this? Yeah, maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that happens in this one. If not, it happened in Fire Night. Fire, yeah, Fire Night. But I'm pretty sure. Oh no, it did happen in Fire Night. Okay. Well, spoiler alert. I wasn't going to talk about Fire Night, but Dinescu gets murdered in Fire Night. This is what happens when you read everything and then you sit down and you talk about it in like book order, but not, you know? You know? Okay, anyway. But they end up leaving them behind. And once they get back to Thunder Bay, um shit gets real. Okay? And Emery and Will, they realize that they love each other and they have loved each other for a really freaking long time because when they were in high school, like I said, Will was really trying to put the moves on Emery. He really cared about her, and I know that I said that he beat up on her brother, but it took him a while to realize that her brother is essentially why she didn't want him. He thought that, maybe it was somebody else or something. Little our boy, baby boy Will, could not figure out why the hell she was so resistant to him caring about her. And by the way, the freaking cop, Martin Scott, he's still around. He's still a dickhead. But he is almost irrelevant. Kind of for now. He's irrelevant for now until I get into it, okay? But they come back to Thunder Bay. They're getting all resettled in. Freaking Aiden and Alex BT Dubs have a history together. We learn about Alex's involvement with him in a previous book. I'm pretty sure it was Conclave. We learn about Alex's like promiscuity and why she decided to become an escort girl boss. They're even enough. And it all starts with this time in college. She did her and her roommate had a little drunken hookup type thing in front of the girl's boyfriend, and the girl's boyfriend was Aiden, but we don't know that until this book that the guy was Aiden. But Alex goes on to say that the girl and the boyfriend break up because the boyfriend was really enamored with Alex. He did not really care too much about his girlfriend anymore. He was all into Alex and what she could do for him. But yeah, so Alex and Aiden, they are an item, kind of, sort of. They end up being an item at the end of this because they were meant to be. She represents this like super strong woman that he really looks up to, and blah blah blah. I'm like, oh, that's sweet. But I'm talking in circles. I'm so sorry. It's been a minute since I read this at this point. But yeah. Where was I going with this? I don't know. Whatever. But um that's what I was looking for. Emery and Will have have a lot of communicating to do. And they start talking about the past and why Emery really couldn't be with him. And Will is all like, I really liked you back then, and honestly, I still really like you now, and I really wish that I didn't, because I kind of hate your stinking guts. You put me and my friends in jail, and everybody's like, what do you mean she put us in jail? Like, huh? Well, little Miss Emery mentioned the phone to good old freaking Trevor way back in the day. And, she had said, it's really dumb that they put everything on that phone because if anybody ever leaked it, they'd be boned. So, freaking Emery gave Trevor the GD idea to freaking leak their shit. Miss Thing, do you not think at all? Apparently not. So that gets brought up, and also to Will had obviously known about Emery's abuse, and Emery used to document the bruises and stuff on her body that her brother inflicted on her, because if it got, real bad, she was going to use the evidence against her brother. But she really stopped collecting the evidence, rather, a while before he had found it. And I don't really know what I'm doing with my makeup. I don't really know if I like this too much, but whatever. I don't know. I'm working on it, and we're gonna get somewhere. But Martin uses these Polaroids that Emery took, and after Will and the Horsemen are caught, Emery is forced to say that the pictures were from Will and the Horsemen assaulting her, and they had testimonies from other girls, women, whatever, whoever, in Thunder Bay that were going to come forward and say that the Horsemen assaulted them as well. Clearly, obviously, that is not what happened, but Martin was really pushing the envelope here by saying, "Yeah, you better do this, or your little boyfriend's ass is grass." And she did it, and she kind of beat herself up every day after that, because she knew that eventually they would find out and they would never forgive her. I'm not liking this at all, but I'm going to see it through. Maybe this is a trust the process. So the gang finds out about that, and Emery, has to tell them the true tea as to what actually, went on. and why she did what she did. And once they hear that, once they find out what was really going on all along, they become a little softer to her because they were pretty pissed. And who can blame them? Going away mainly for false accusations, other than the fact that they did some of the stuff that they were being accused of, but that's neither here nor there. But they all end up kissing, making up, whatever. And there's so much that goes on in this book that I really don't necessarily care about. I remember saying a couple weeks ago that this one was one of my favorites from this, and in the moment, yeah, it was. But now that I've had time to really think and reflect and read some other things, I'm like, meh, meh. Maybe this isn't so fantastic. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not bad. It's a good story, but some of the stuff that happens, I'm just over it. But the gang, they were all planning Rika and Michael's wedding, and at this point too, obviously Kai and Banks are married, and Damon and Winter aren't married, but they're together and they've got kids. At this point, I think Winter has only given birth to Ivarson. Um, but she's going to have another baby. They end up having 5 kids. A lot. They end up having a lot of kids. Winter and Damon, because Damon is determined to have a daughter. They end up having one. She's the last. Octavia. Anyway, again, neither here nor there. But they're planning Rika and Michael's wedding. It ends up happening. Rika's also the mayor of Thunder Bay. This is why I'm over it, okay? Because what the fart, man? What is going on? This girl is 22, maybe, I think. And she's the mayor? And she's still in college? I just can't. I just cannot. I'm over it. I'm over it. Whatever. They end up having this joint wedding, and everything's great until freaking an explosion goes off in the freaking distance over near the cove that they freaking bought, and they were going to turn into a mountain cliffside resort type thing. So God, this is too much. So that happens, and obviously they're like, what the frick? Another fire! More fire! I'm over the fire and these people. Okay? So obviously wedding is cut short. Everybody except for Emery and Will get to say I do. And I'm moving a little quick too. Sorry, not to go and change gears, but I get it. Y'all really liked each other in high school, and you were stuck in black church together for, I don't know, 2 weeks, maybe a week, maybe just a couple days. I don't quite remember the timeline, but I don't think that's enough to decide that you're gonna get married. You barely know each other. Well, you know, you know, you didn't live together or anything like that before this. You just are. You didn't even really date. Whatever. Who am I? I'm just a girl with opinions. But yeah, they're gonna get married too. What the fuck ever. But they go to investigate the explosion and the fire and blah blah blah, yada yada yada. Everything is orchestrated by Dinescu and Iden. And there's a couple other players in the game. And they all turn out to be Evans Christ, freaking Michael's dad, son of a bitch that he is, and Martin Scott, and Will's grandfather. Will's grandfather really is just almost like a spy. He's not really in on anything. He's just a guy. He's just there being a grandpa. You know? He's just a little guy too. But anyway, there's a little girl over that's like homeless and living at the cove, and there's also underground tunnels. And Will owns the factory that the little spooky scary Halloween thing gets held at. I'm so over this. I'm so over this book and these people. Ugh. Again, I really liked the book in the moment, but the more that I sit here and I think about it and I go back, I'm over it. But anyway, they all freaking go and there's a big confrontation, and like I said, freaking Martin Scott and Evans Christ are the main bad guys behind everything. And they, hold on. Eyebrows are important. Give me a second. No, hold on. I'm gonna pause. I'll be right back. They're good enough. But they come to a little confrontation with the evil men. And boy, howdy, is there a lot to unpack here. So, Will's grandfather comes out and he is like, hey, yeah, I sent Will to Black Church, but Will is all like, well, I also said it was cool. And everyone's like, huh? What do you mean? You went to Black Church willingly? And Will admits that he did, and it was to make connections and whatever. And Evans Christ is like, what the frick is going on? And he ends up getting something. I don't remember. Does he get killed? I don't think so. But I don't remember, okay? I don't freaking remember. at the time, I remember being slack-jawed because I was like, crazy pants, but I don't remember anymore. Doesn't matter. But anyway, Michael's mom's there because they had a bunch of people that had joined them in masks and stuff, and one of the people in masks was freaking Michael's mom. And then there was another woman in a mask, and that was Christiane Fane. So much, so much. But Evans Christ essentially admits to being corrupt and get it, corrupt. Being a corrupt dude, and yeah, killing Schroeder Fane and being in on the boys all going to jail minus Michael. And there's so much. Everybody's just so crooked. But Will's grandfather was like, well, y'all suck. I was using you all the whole time. My boy Will, he's my favorite grandson. Love him so much. Um, you know, he's just a little guy, you know, Mr. Grayson, the freaking whatever. Um, we also learn a lot more in this story about the grave of
I'm finding it.
It take you that long to find it?
It does.
Oh my god, there's a lot that I'm forgetting. Hold on. Okay, I consulted my Kindle, okay? So McClanahan's grave. I don't remember what I was saying before this because it took me so long to find the answer. And also, too, I know that I said I was going to do this in post, but the twinks are Rory and Micah. Misha is Will's cousin. Too many M's and Us. But anyway, I think I was talking about Will's grandfather and his connection to Edward McClanahan. But Will's grandfather was friends with Edward McClanahan. And I don't remember why that mattered because again I lost my train of thought. It's been too long that I took a break to get the information that I needed. But there you are. Have fun with that info. But all said and done, freaking we find that out. Also, Evans Christ did not die. But there was a gun involved, and Alex gets shot. And Iden Kadir runs over to her because him and Will are in a kerfuffle at the time that the gun goes off, and it was Martin Scott that fired the gun and hit Alex. So then Will goes after Martin, and they go right over the cliff that Reverie Cross went over, but they hit the water instead of any rocks or anything like that. And while in the water, first of all, Will's freaking out because Will can't seem to not be in water and almost drown. Okay, this poor guy is going to have a fear of bodies of water for the rest of his life. I swear to God. But he he ends up being fine. Our boy Will. He perseveres, and while in the water, he kills Martin. Thank God, because Martin's just a real piece of freaking doo-doo butt garbage. But so we get the happy ending sort of as far as that goes. And then Emery, at least, doesn't have to deal with an abusive brother anymore, I guess. If there's a win to anything, it's that. I don't know. There's that. But a lot of, you know, sexy time happens to sprinkle throughout everything. Don't think that just because I didn't talk about it, it didn't happen. There was lots of moments where they were freaking it. Okay, and lots of moments now that all of the chaos has settled that they're freaking it. All right, don't worry. This was a Penelope Douglas book. They were freaking it. Don't fear. You read the book, you'll get all the spicy details of it all. I just grazed over all of that because I realized that there was a lot of really bananas nonsense that happened throughout. But in the end, they all live happily ever after. It's just, I don't know, man. There's just too much wildness that goes on. Like, at the end of this, too, that little homeless girl that was living at the cove, she ends up getting adopted by Michael and Rika because Rika can't have kids. And, well, so we think, because she ends up having her own in the future. But whatever. They end up adopting this like 8-year-old girl, and she becomes part of the Horsemen very quickly. And yeah, I don't know, man. There's just too much that happened, and I'm well over it. But overall, it was fine. It was an okay book, I guess. I'm trying to think if there is anything, really pressing that I needed to talk about. Emery and Will end up having their wedding where they can officially say I do. They wake up the judge in the middle of the night, really, to finish their part of the ceremony. And that's cool. There's not much else. That's the big thing. And like I said, Will's grandfather was a cool guy all along. Will went to Black Church willingly. The twinks get to stay. They become part of the Horsemen's little gaggle. I don't know. Let me finish doing my mascara. I'll be back. I just remembered too. When I said Alex gets shot, she's fine. Her and Aiden end up getting together and living out their I don't know, fantasy that they always should have been together. And the book, like main story-wise, ends with Winter giving birth to her and Damon's second child. Like I said, they end up having like 5. But Emery and Will go to the hospital while Winter is giving birth, and her and Will end up talking about having kids and whatever, and Will's like, well, like, it'd be cool one day, and Emmy's like, well, how about like in 8 or 9 months, because she's pregnant. From all the freaking it that they did, I told you that there was sexy time happening. Just because I didn't talk about it explicitly doesn't mean that it wasn't happening. And the epilogue, it takes place 10 years in the future. So at this point, Emery's already had 3 kids of Will's, and the rest of the gang has had children of their own as well. I think Kai and Banks have had 2 kids. Winter and Damon have had, like I said, I think 5 by then. Maybe not. I don't remember. 4 or 5. They've had 4 or 5. Emery and Will have had 3, and Rika and Michael have the girl that they adopted. I can't think of her name. And 1 little boy of their own. So that's that. The epilogue is pretty boring, tame, whatever. I don't know. I've got no real thoughts on it. I was just glad that everything was over, but I ended up sobbing. It was a good time. It was heartfelt in the moment. But yeah, I don't know. I was just very enthralled at the time, and now looking back, I'm like, wow, none of this would happen in real life. Like, this is just insanity. But in the moment, like I said, good read in the moment. Reflecting now, I'm like, this is all too much, all too much. Yeah, I don't know. That's all I have today. I can't wait to talk about something else that's fresher in my mind. I'm so sorry that this was all over the place. It has been a couple weeks, honestly, like maybe a month since, well, yeah, a little over a month at this point since I've finished Nightfall and read, like, I don't know, 5, 6 other books since then. So my mind is not on Nightfall anymore. But thank you so much if you've made it to the end. The makeup is mid today. I'm not really feeling it. Also, I'm sure you saw that my eyebrow is like red and nasty here. It's because I took out my eyebrow piercing and shaved off the tails of my eyebrows because I like having more real estate to play with. So yeah, don't worry, it'll be healed soon. I like literally just took it out 2 nights ago. But yeah, thank you again so much for hanging out. If you've made it to the end, comment, I don't know, comment what you think I should read next. And if you've read this series and you've finished Nightfall, let me know what you thought. Because, like I said, looking back now, I'm like, meh. It was okay, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. I will upload sooner than like 4 weeks next time. I will see you guys next week, I promise. And we'll talk about something else. Maybe Nocticadia. That one was cool. That one was fun. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I'll see you guys next week. Bye.